What if one of the healthiest compounds in your diet is hiding in plain sight? Welcome to From the Vault from the MonellCenter. Monell scientists continue to lead the way in translating flavor into function. In this first part of a From the Vault presentation from 2020, Monell's own Dr. Catherine Peyrot de Gachons explores a challenge at the intersection of chemistry, nutrition, and sensory science. How do we isolate and study the compounds responsible for the health benefits in extra virgin olive oil? Dr. Peyrot de Gachons reviews the Mediterranean diet, which is rich in extra virgin olive oil and also linked to lower rates of cardiovascular disease and longer lifespans. This is because of its polyphenols, especially the compounds oleocanthal and oleacein. These molecules have anti-inflammatory properties, but they're difficult to study because they're so difficult to obtain in any pure form. Dr. Peyrot de Gachons and her collaborators, including the late Louise Slade, looked beyond olive oil and discovered an unexpected alternative source for these compounds: privet plants. This is a perfect example of how basic research can lead directly to advances in health science. By making these compounds more available, research can better study how they work in the body, how to validate their health benefits, and finally, how to potentially translate them into real-world applications. With that said, here's Dr. Peyrot de Gachons.
Okay, so the title of my talk is Isolation Procedure, an alternative source for the health-promoting compounds oleocanthal and oleacein. So this work really is about finding a new path to help validate the health benefits of some extra virgin olive oil compounds. It's been established through epidemiology studies that the Mediterranean diet, with the olive oil consumption included in it, has many beneficial effects on health. Some of the extra virgin olive oil compounds have been more particularly studied, but the extent to which one compound is studied seems to depend, at least partly, on the availability of this compound as a pure compound. Oleocanthal and oleacein, which are key compounds in extra virgin olive oil for its health benefits, have been relatively little studied. Currently, oleocanthal and oleacein both are extracted, isolated from extra virgin olive oil, and the best oils have the most of those compounds. But really, it doesn't make a lot of sense to produce those wonderful olive oil all year of work and expenses for finally having chemists extracting compounds from it. Plus, at this point, the oil, the medium, is really rich and complex, and so it's not that easy to extract them. So we looked elsewhere and found privet leaves to be a very good source for those compounds if the right extraction protocol is used. And here I'd like to pause to talk just a little bit about Louise Slade, since she's really central to this project. And in fact, without her, this project would simply not exist. And I know that many of you knew Louise, and I know that many of you are connected to Louise on LinkedIn. And here I show you just the homepage of Louise. And you can see here the polymer symbols for which science she is very well known and recognized. And then you have these two pictures. And those pictures are a picture of privet plants. And I love the fact that there's not only one of them, but two of them. And I think it really shows her interest for oleocanthal and her growing love for privet. I just want to share a picture of Louise. I think it's here, it's the budding love for privet. And This picture is Luis taking notes during our first field trip, trying to find the right species of privet. As you all know, the Mediterranean diet consists of a large consumption of vegetables, fruits, nuts, and a reduced consumption of sweets and red meat. It's been shown that through epidemiology studies that the Mediterranean population have a reduced incidence of different chronic disease and prolonged longevity. So in the 80s, a large study called the 7-country study of cardiovascular disease demonstrated for the first time the cardioprotective properties of the Mediterranean diet related specifically to the beneficial effect of olive oil consumption. Following this study, other large cohort studies have been conducted with smaller human trials, and they provided more evidence that extra virgin olive oil consumption within these diets decreases the incidence of several chronic diseases. Here I just list few of the most cited large cohort studies. So extra virgin olive oil is produced from the physical crushing of the fruit. This process helps retain many of the compounds from the fresh olives, which are vitamins, chlorophylls, phytosterols, and polyphenols. So those minor compounds provide the sensory stimuli of the oil, the color, the smell, and the very peculiar pungency of the oil. And also, the polyphenols in particular provide the health benefit of the olive oil. Now, it's been shown that it's not so much the type of fat than the presence of those polyphenols. And when it comes to health benefits, the saccharidoid derivatives are really at the center of the research. In particular, oleuropein, lixtroside, oleacein, and the simple phenols, hydroxytyrosol and tyrosol. And you can see, looking at their structure, that they all derive from each other. So in 2011, the European Food Safety Authority found that there was enough evidence to grant a health claim about the role of saccharidoid derivatives in protecting against cardiovascular events. And this claim reads like that: the daily intake of 20 grams of olive oil, which contains at least 5 milligrams of hydroxytyrosol and its derivatives, provides the expected beneficial effects